Thank you so much.
Now I have the honor of introducing our college's 12th president. Dr. David A. Thomas is the 12th president of Morehouse College. Dr. Thomas is internationally recognized for his expertise in organizational management and higher educational leadership. A noted academic scholar, award-winning author, and business consultant for 100 of the Fortune 500 companies, Dr. Thomas has also served as Dean of Georgetown University's McDonough School of Business and on the faculty of Harvard Business School and the Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania. At Morehouse, his fundraising leadership has resulted in approximately $190 million, a still growing total higher than during any other presidential tenure in the history of Morehouse College. Under Dr. Thomas's strategic direction, Morehouse has extended its reach by launching its first online degree programs and has amplified its positioning as a center of intellectual discourse and social engagement in areas such as global leadership, professional equity, social justice, and innovation. Additionally, he serves on the board of DTE Energy, Common Fund, Vanguard, and Yale Corporation. He is also a senior advisor for grain management. Dr. Thomas earned a PhD in organizational behavior studies and a Master of Philosophy in organizational behavior, both from Yale University, along with a Master of Organizational Psychology from Columbia University and a Bachelor of Administrative Sciences from Yale College. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a hand for our college's 12th president, Dr. David A. Thomas.
Thank you, Roland. And thank all of you for joining us, and especially you, Administrator Powers. I actually do remember, I was a few years ahead of you at Harvard. I remember you hitting the campus and everyone predicting that you were going to change the reputation for CG. So I will not be long in my remarks, but I will just start by putting them in context. I was actually supposed to be in another city this morning. And this event came about on my calendar. I looked into exactly what it was, and I applied the rule that I often apply when I can be 3 or 4 places in any given hour of the day, which is the life of the president of Morehouse College. And that rule is, where can I show up and be a part of what will define the future of Morehouse College if, long after I have left the earth, people look at Morehouse College and it has achieved my vision for it, which captured briefly is that in the 21st century, we will have as much impact as Morehouse had on the 20th century. And you cannot write the history of the 20th century without writing about Morehouse. So what has to happen for that to be true for the 21st century? One fundamental aspect of that formula is that we have to be global. We have to be global. We have to think of Julius Coles, class of 64. I thought you were younger than that, Julius. But we have to think of Julius as the tip of the spear. When he left Morehouse, there weren't very many of us who were truly going global. He's the tip of the spear that has to define where we take Morehouse in the future. We have to be global. The 20th century was the American century. The 21st century is the global century. As Administrator Powers was saying, the existential threat of the 21st century is the climate. It can only be solved globally. No single country can solve the global crisis. And we need leadership that understands the world globally, and in particular, understands those communities and parts of the world that are disproportionately impacted. We need leaders who will bring a sensibility about social justice that is not simply intellectual, but it is also somehow deeply ingrained in their sense of identity. I believe that those are the kinds of leaders that we are producing here at Morehouse College. And so, I believe that we are important partners for USAID in their effort to become more intentional. And what I loved about your comments, Administrator, was that what you described was, it's not about job fairs, job posting. It's about an intentionality of creating the core of leaders who will impact and define the 21st century. And who at the end of this century, we will look back and be able to ask the question, have we made the planet a better planet than it was when we came into it? I'm a baby boomer. Some things happened on our watch. But I cannot say that we have left you a world with more potential than we were born into. I believe that the requirements for leadership, the focus, is actually a steeper climb than was the climb we had to make in 1956 and the year I was born. When in some ways, while if you go back and you read headlines from 1956, there was a way in which you could read one side of the paper and there was no hope, but when you read the other side of the paper, there was lots of hope that things were moving in the right direction. We're challenged in that today. Your generation will be challenged. So leadership is important. This effort with USAID is also very much aligned with principles in our strategic plan, one of which is creating partnerships of purpose. The reality for Morehouse College today is that lots of institutions knock on our door and say they want to do something. We become very intentional about saying that we're gonna choose who we partner with, not simply accept who shows up at the door. And part of the criteria is that it's a partnership of purpose, that it's a partnership with an entity that shares our values, understands our mission, and together we're moving in a shared and common direction with force and intentionality to create a better world. So this is a partnership of purpose. Another plank in our strategic plan is Morehouse Beyond Borders, extending the reach, impact, focus of Morehouse. And one of the objectives there, and Dr. Adams and her team are part of helping us move toward making it happen, is that every student at Morehouse will have a global experience and global exposure, and that we will become a more global campus so that we are global at home, not just out in the world, but global at home. So this is very much connected with what I think is important for where Morehouse goes in the future if we are truly to deliver on what I think is our purpose for being and why we are relevant to the 21st century. I also want to recognize our students who've come today. And I spoke to a couple of them, and a couple of them, I said, well, why are you here? And one of them just said, I just want to understand what's going on, right? Following that curiosity. And hopefully my students, our students here today will walk away thinking, I have to be global. Morehouse men, we have to be global. Because when people look at us, they don't think global. So we have to be global. And that's what this is about from where I stand. And it's about defining the directions that the leadership of the 21st century should go in. And that's what Morehouse is creating every day that we wake up here and apply ourselves to the work. So with that, I will conclude. Rollin, I don't know if we turn it back over to you as the MC or where we go. Dr. Adams? Oh, good. People are taking pictures. This seems really fancy.
I'm Jan Adams, and it's just a delight for me to be here today and to just say thank you to everyone who was able to join. Thank you to Administrator Powers. Thank you to our President, Dr. Thomas. Thank you to our Provost, Dr. Brown, and to LeVar Smith, who helped make all of this possible, and the team, also wonderful team at USAID. This is an important strategic partnership for the Andrew Young Center and for the college. It means a lot for us because what it means is we move from having an informal relationship in which we have had the support of USAID for many years, and a partnership that was developed and strengthened by the previous true executive director of the center, Julius Coles. And now we have a well-defined relationship that will take us into the 21st century. So we are excited about that, what this is going to do for our students, what this is going to do for us strategically around Morehouse Beyond Borders, and we just couldn't be happier about this partnership. So we're very grateful for your presence today, and we thank all of you for being here, and I think this part is adjourned.